Well, good morning, welcome back. Now, 14 years ago when we set this channel up, it was to create a broad spread of content right across the spectrum to interest as many people as possible if we could. But the core reason for the channel, right at the centre, was to create content that would spread a bit of information, a few safety tips, and things we can help save money and keep our bikes safely on the road. And today's video is just such content. Now, if you've got a motorcycle with a chain and sprockets, it's inevitable that at some point or another you're going to have to retension the chain, because obviously it wears and it becomes loose, and there are adjuster bolts there for you to use, and you will have to get around that job at some point. We all know that. Now, if you've got a single side swing arm, that is an easy job. You just rotate the hub or whatever method it has, and the alignment of the wheel stays dead straight. But on a motorcycle with a conventional axle and two separate adjusters, which is the vast majority of bikes, you're going to have to then deal with the wheel alignment. And that's what today's video is about, rear wheel alignment. And there are several methods of getting it right. Now, first of all, the factory gives you these marks stamped on the swinging arm. We've all seen these. And I've heard a lot of people say, you can't trust them, they're not accurate. Well, they're stamped accurately, but where they're not trustworthy is that they're quite wide apart. They're not particularly close, and you can't make an accurate set on them. You're lucky if you set your chain tension and the adjuster block falls exactly on one of those lines. Perfect. You set the other side to the same line the other side, boom, you've got your wheel alignment bang on. But most of the time, I think you'll agree, I can see you nodding, you'll go in between two of those marks, and they're 3mm apart, so you're in the world of guesswork. And that's no good, is it? You can't guess it. Even that tiny amount can still set the wheel alignment slightly out. And if you've got a high-performance sports bike, you want it absolutely perfect. And there is a way to get it far more accurate than that. You need one of these. So to actually use a caliper, I think we all know this method, but just roll through it if you've never done it. Take one of these. It's got the little tail on the end. Put the body of the ruler there on the swing and arm itself, and then just poke the little tail forward until it touches the adjuster block, the bit that moves. And with your chain tension set where you want it, get that measurement, look what it is, and set the other one, that side of the bike, exactly the same. And your wheel alignment is absolutely perfect, to 1/10 of a millimetre. Couldn't be more accurate than that. But unfortunately, not all bikes are built like this. Not all wheel adjusters on the back of a swinging arm are that shape. And sometimes you can't use this method. I'll show you what I mean. Now on the Triumph, as you can see here, it adopts a completely different system. There's no sliding block to measure against, it's just this sheet metal bracket, and there's nowhere to put the caliper and measure against, so you can't use that. All you're left with is the marks on this bracket, and again, they're even worse than the Yamaha. They're 6mm apart, and they're not even that sharply marked. They're kind of little divots. And it's okay if you fall exactly on one of those, but if it's in between them, which it's likely to be, it's going to be a guesswork between the two, and that's a bit sketchy. We want our rear wheel alignment absolutely accurate. But there is one tool that will get it absolutely accurate every single time, whatever the setup. Now, I'm sure that loads of you have seen these before, or you've got one in your toolbox already, or maybe you've got the fancy one with a laser light instead, don't know, but they all work on the same principle. For those who've not seen one before though, I'll show you how simple they are to use. You'll get a measurement as accurate as one of these, and it starts by just dropping the chain guard off quick. Right, firstly, before the question arises, the Yamaha's left side drive, the Triumphs are right side drive, but this fits both because the indicator rod fits one way or the other. Doesn't matter, you can just put it whatever side you need. So to fit this to the sprocket, I'll show you exactly where it goes. Now, so that the tool itself is aligned perfectly with the wheel, we've got a machined flat edge on the inside of the tool, and that presses against the machined flat edge on the inside of the sprocket itself. So you just hook that over your chain, screw the thumb wheel in so that this edge presses against the inside edge of the sprocket, and then it will be perfectly aligned. And there we are. Once it's fitted, you can see exactly how it works. It shoots that metal rod along the top of the chain, exactly the same as the posh ones with a laser in them. It shoots the laser line along the top of the chain, and if it lines up perfectly with the chain, then your wheel is in alignment, and if it doesn't, if it's slightly off, then you need to adjust it. And looking at mine, it is slightly off. Take a look. Now I think you'll agree that's pretty obvious. The chain is a straight line and that rod is just a tiny bit off to the left. So to bring it across to the right, all I need to do is adjust this side of the axle back a fraction, and that should then bring that rod straight back into line. Pretty simple. Hang on. Well, here's a thought. I actually take quite a pride in my rear wheel alignment. I like to have it right wherever possible. I'm sure you do too. So a tool like this, as you could see with the Triumph, I use the marks on the frame, which is all you have on that bike, and I thought I got it pretty close, but not quite. This now means, as I've used this, it's absolutely perfect, and that makes me happy. Far happier riding it now I know it's bang on. Now, if you want to buy one of these, they're anywhere between about 12 and 60 pounds. 60 quid being the one with a laser, and the lower end of it being one of these little manual ones. That's all you need. You don't need anything more fancy than that. As you can see, it worked perfectly for me. So I'll leave a link to this one in the description if you want to treat yourself. And I'll thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. I'll see you next time.